Welcome to So You Want to Be a Geek, the podcast where we dive into the vibrant and ever-evolving world of geek culture. Whether you're a seasoned fan or just curious about what makes being a geek so special, join us as we explore everything from comics to movies, gaming, tech, sports, and everything in between. Each episode will bring you insights, interviews, and the latest news to fuel your passion and expand your horizon. So grab your favorite fandom and let's embark on this geeky adventure together. I'm Michael Canetti, and this is So You Want to Be a Geek.
We're here at Long Island Dance Force talking to Nicole Bruhnke about her beautiful studio that has a tremendous following. And I'm somebody that I'm a dad of two girls and they love their dance. And all I know is let's put your tap shoes on and your ballet slippers, and I know nothing. But I'm here to talk to an expert that'll teach all of us about the world of dance and what makes people so geeky about it or infatuated with it. So hi, Nicole, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today.
I can hear in your voice the passion you have about teaching the students and sort of like opening their mind to their opportunities that they can have here doing dance and pursuing their passions. And I love that. I can feel that like positive energy off of you, which I think is really speaks volumes for like if you've ever checked out their social media or on their website, there's just so much positive energy and just amazing stuff they're doing here in the studio that, you know, what I'm curious about is like what draws people in? Like what you know, you're a parent of, you know, a 4 or 5 year old and your child wants to go into dance, like how do they connect with this place to come in and then want to stay within the community?
So I've tried really hard to kind of develop this, you know, it's so much more than dance is my motto.
Yeah.
You come here and you're getting so much more than dance. You're getting relationships. You're building confidence in young children, which is very big in this world. As a parent,
Very
I think
needed.
It's very needed. You know, if you think about what we're asking these young kids to do, even if they're not on our competition team, if they're a 3 or 4 year old, you're asking a 3 or 4 year old to leave their parent, to go with somebody that they've never met before, spend a year with them, whatever, they spend an hour a week with me, but then at the end of the year we put on a recital. You're asking them to go on this stage in front of hundreds of people in an audience, you know, putting themselves out there, and you're asked, that's a lot for a toddler.
Yeah.
And then you go into our competition team, you're asking these girls to go not only perform in front of hundreds of audience members, but now you're putting them in front of a panel of judges where those 3 judges, their job is to critique you. And you're willingly putting yourself out there, having 3 strangers tell you what you're doing wrong, how you can improve upon yourself, how to make it better, things that they would like to see you work on. So we have girls as young as 5 years old on our competition team. They have to sit there and hear that from these judges. So I feel like my job is, it's really big to say that it's all a learning experience.
It's also kind of a good life experience because when they go for jobs in the real world, you know, I work in higher education and I can't tell you how many college age young people are just not prepared for what it's going to be like on a job interview or to get feedback from an employer. Like building those skills of dealing with feedback,
Absolutely.
You know, positive or, you know, developmental, is a very important life skill for people to learn.
It is. That's why I say it's so much more than dance. Like you're teaching them this life skill of accepting feedback. You're going to get feedback your whole life.
Yeah.
It is very important, and you know, and how to deal with negative feedback too. You know, we have girls that, you know, when they don't get things or when they are getting feedback from teachers or judges, you know, it breaks them down a little bit. There's a lot of tears, you know,
sure.
and it's how do we overcome those obstacles. And what's so rewarding at the end of the day, like I'm getting emotional talking about it, is seeing these kids overcome those obstacles and, you know, gaining so much. We just experienced, we went to nationals in July, and we did a clean sweep at nationals.
Wow.
These girls, we won in every age category, first place. Like, it was the most emotional, most amazing thing that I've ever experienced as a teacher. And just the emotions and the looks on these little girls' faces, like they did that.
Right.
They worked hard. They gave up birthday parties. They gave up time with their friends. They gave up vacations to be in the studio to work toward a goal. And just to see them achieve that goal, it's really beautiful in the end. And I think that's what draws people in. And they see that on our Instagram page, or if they come to our recital, just being in the studio where everyone is so supportive of each other.
Were there any challenges for you when it came from saying, okay, I'm done teaching in the school system, and say to yourself, hey, this opportunity has come about to take over this studio? What were some of the challenges you faced when it came to stepping into this role and building this brand and this business and keep it going and keep the legacy going as well?
Right. So for starters, I knew nothing about owning a business. Business was never in my...
Most people don't.
Yeah, I knew nothing about what it meant. I knew none of the appropriate rules or anything about taxes or licenses. And so that was a definite challenge. Managing budget, money, finances, all of that was very new to me. I have to say my husband stepped in a lot. That was definitely his strength, and he helped me for the first couple of years. I can say that I have learned so much that he does not need to assist me anymore. I have learned a lot about that. Everything, what he made Excel sheets for me and kept me organized, and now I do my own accounting. I've just grown and learned just through doing. Right. And kind of like survival mode.
You have to.
I had to do it. Before I owned the studio, I had helped the previous owner with a lot of the competition registering and costume ordering, but even though I had helped in the past, actually being responsible for it and doing that all, it's a lot. And I think my biggest challenge was probably time management, because this is a different job than a 9 to 5. It's
your day starts at 2:00 when the kids get out of school oftentimes.
Yeah, so we don't really open until 4:30. So it's a 4:30, and last night I was here till 10 o'clock at night. Wow.
So you were talking a little bit about the little kids, and there's I'm blanking on the term, but in preschool, or they teach those cognitive skills of just they're developmental skills, and you're almost reinforcing and enhancing those skills so they can have that sort of cognitive ability to understand, okay, this is how I do certain things. Just like when you're learning how to write your name for the first time, it's following that method.
Yes,
and then,
it has to be very repetitive. Yeah. Repetition is key.
Yeah.
I feel like, and people say you must have so much patience, and yes, I do have patience, but I also understand my expectations for a 2-year-old
are different than a 12-year-old.
Very different. Yes. So I think it's important just to have realistic expectations. And I think, that's what sets the kids up for success. We want them to be successful. We want those kids to walk into class every day happy.
Right.
I don't need them to be the best dancer in the world. They don't have to, show the best skills. They have to walk in willing to learn and happy to be here. And that's kind of our motto, here. And the learning happens. That it just naturally happens. And our little kids have become such strong dancers that we've started them at age 5 at competition team. I started about, I think maybe it was 4 years ago, was the first time I'm starting this little kid competition team. And we were the first in the area.
Wow.
We'd go to competitions and we'd be the only studio with a 6 and under jazz group, and the judges would be I can't believe that they just remembered that whole dance, because typically you're looking at this age group at a dance recital with their dance teacher on the stage with them following, but that was just it. The judges understood too. I can't believe they just remembered that whole dance, remembered where they were standing. They didn't need any teacher assistant, and they were able to do that at 5 years old. So we kind of started a trend, because now I'm seeing a little bit more of that, we're business owners, we're all competing against each other. But I have a very large little kid competition team and a very large following, but they're very successful, and they, we have high expectations for them, because they're capable of them. We started them when they were little. Most of them started with me when they were 2, so they just have built that foundation and that that comfortableness
Right.
with us. So they're able to learn. They don't feel
That's cool.
stressed about it.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at SYWTBAG for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and more geeky goodness. Have a topic you'd like us to discuss or a guest you'd like to hear from? Let us know. So you want to be a geek at gmail.com and stay up to date and join the conversation. Until next time, keep embracing that inner geek, and remember, the adventure never ends.